Hello, welcome to this video. I'm in Kanab, Utah. Can you see Kanab, Utah? I went on this hike today. You're probably wondering, when the fuck is Matthew gonna be in Las Vegas? Today, I'm leaving this morning. I've just been on this roll of shooting videos and being in nature. Every time I go on a hike, I just get inspired to shoot a video, or three. I just want to talk about how important it is to take space in these intense, you could call them twin flame relationships. I know that might even be a triggering word for a lot of you. We all have our own ideas of what that means. You could just call it an intense, divine, soulmate connection. Whatever you feel in your heart it is to you. You know, when these connections, when we're a part of them, they're so fucking triggering. They can bring up so much trauma so fast that we can kind of get lost in it. They can just get kind of stacked up, like layered up, right? Just you guys don't even have to be talking. I'm sure you can resonate with this. Just simply being in each other's presence. It's like your fields, when they start kind of congealing together, getting a little bit enmeshed, it can just start triggering up so much pain. And I think the real key here is when it does get stacked up, your nervous system, it can go into fight, where you just can get hostile towards the other person, angry, enraged. It can go into flight, where you just want to run forever and never talk to the person again. That's a common one, especially for us attachment avoidant types. I think that's the right word. Or it can go into freeze, where it's just like your energy gets stuck, and you just get to start to feel like this, like contracted. And I tend to be, I can actually do all of them pretty well. I'm pretty good at all of them. But this morning I noticed a freeze response coming in. And the thing is, it's not like it's the other person's fault when they're triggering this much trauma in us. It's not our fault when we're triggering them. It's just basically how the relationship is supposed to work. This is why it frees you. This is why it deepens you. It's liberating because it brings this stuff up. And if you're able to work through it in a very conscious way, you can integrate a lot of it. But what I've noticed in myself and my divine connection is that sometimes we'll get it just so stacked up, all the trauma and triggers and pain, that especially early on, we didn't quite take enough space from the connection. And more recently, we've been really diving into space, like all the space we can get, like just doing our own thing. I mean, we've been on this really intense road trip, so it's been like just close contact, just very, very much in the small space for a long time. So it's been kind of hard, but we've learned it's absolutely mandatory that we take as much space as possible. And this just lets your system, like those layers, it lets you process through the layers. So if you're in a free state, it's good to go out on a hike, get as much space as you can, and just let your system digest and integrate and process everything that this connection is bringing up for you. Because that's the thing, if you don't, you're just going to get it too stacked up, and then you're going to feel like this impulsive feeling to just run forever, or you're going to just really lash out at the other person. And so when you're getting enough space, it's beautiful because your nervous system feels more settled. You start to feel more relaxed, which is always great. But also, when you do get triggered the next time, there's more space, there's more consciousness and awareness to work through it in a more helpful way. So instead, like last night, she said something, my divine counterpart said something, and it just felt like she stuck a fucking knife in me 4 inches deep in my heart and my gut, Just searing anger and rage is what I immediately felt when she said it. And instead of being reactive and just lashing out and projecting that anger all over her and making it her fault, I told her, I said, when you say that, what I'm hearing is da da da, right? I'm hearing that I'm not enough. I'm hearing that, you know, I like whatever it is. What I'm hearing that I'm wrong. I'm hearing that you think that I'm not trying hard enough. I'm hearing that I'm just feeling so much pressure. Whatever you're hearing, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean it's true. And that's beautiful because that frees them up to say, oh no, that's not at all what I was talking about. And then they can reflect and say consciously, actually, I was speaking from a wound there myself. And so what I was saying wasn't even true either. And it wasn't my intention to hurt you. I was just unconsciously speaking from a wound. And so see what happens is you bring all this consciousness to the dialogue. Instead of she says something that hurts me, I feel it in my gut, in my heart, the rage, and I project on her. And then she gets uber triggered and then she just lashes back out, or one of us, then someone goes into flight and it just says, I can never talk to you again, or you guys know the pattern, right? We've all lived the pattern. But when you are taking enough space from each other, you can be conscious enough to say, hey, actually what I'm hearing when you say that is this. And then you can have that conscious dialogue where it helps you work through it better. And you can still heal if you go into the trigger spiral. That's okay. That still will happen from time to time. But it feels like so much better to the nervous system, to the body, to work through these things in a more healthy way. So we don't have to stack up the layers of triggering. So we don't have to say the hurtful thing that we're gonna wish we didn't say later. And so I just wanted to talk about that. And so for me, someone who loves their independence and loves their alone time, a 3-week road trip with someone, I think it may even be longer now, I don't know. The time is just kind of, hard to make sense of it. It's all like one day or something, or like, just, yeah. The space thing has been crucial, because at first we were getting no space from each other, and it was just intolerable for our nervous systems. It was just, we were flooded with the trauma, with the triggers. And then we were helpless to it, and we just couldn't work through it in enough time, you know? We couldn't get through it fast enough. And we were just in a constant state of hypervigilance of, And so we've learned, as we've deepened through this connection, to really take as much space as we need and to not feel guilty about it. Just to be like, hey, I need a whole day to do whatever. And also when we're in each other's presence, learning how to just kind of be in our own world more and not so enmeshed in each other's stuff, which is hard. It's a lot of stuff to heal. And actually now we're moving into this place where, like I've said in previous videos, I'm moving to Vegas alone. And she's just gonna keep driving. She's gonna go to the ocean. And I don't know, we don't know how long we'll be apart, a week, a lifetime, anything in between. It's just really, we deepened into this place of not attaching to it. Just our bodies will tell us. The divine will tell us what's true. Right now what's true is, okay, we've had a phenomenal 3 weeks together. It's been insane. It's been just so intense. We've learned about ourselves in such a rapid manner. We learned acceptance, forgiveness, gentleness, compassion, unconditional love. We've really deepened in how to relate to another person. I mean, it's been astonishing, the growth and the progress that has happened within each of us during this time period. But right now we're feeling like, you know, just the days apart, it's not quite enough for our bodies and our systems, our nervous systems. What our bodies are, the intelligence of our bodies and nervous systems are just asking us for like, hey, can we get a different state away space for a minute, you know, to like really integrate for a while, to really be in our own fields for a while, to really embrace our independence for a little while. So yeah, that's what inspired this 150-day connection. It's because, or this challenge is because these last weeks, you know, every ounce of drop of space I've had has been like to process this connection and everything it's bringing up for me. And I'm looking at myself right now, I look a bit tired. And I just had a 2-day spiritual retreat on top of it yesterday, so yeah. Some alone time will be very good for my system, my humanity. And I noticed myself kind of building up expectations for Vegas just a little bit, but not so much because I saw it right away. And so it's just like feeling back into the openness of what that time can be for me, and not getting attached to like a certain story about it of like it needs to look a certain way. Just feeling myself just being guided. And actually what I've noticed is this connection, what it's helped each of us do is just sometimes all we have is the present moment. I mean, that's the deepest truth. But sometimes it's just taken us to the present moment so fully, and to stop trying to project and all of these things about what it's going to look like a week from now. Because honestly, things move so fast in these type of connections. You don't know. You just never know, because you're not even close to the same person you were a week ago. So how could you know what your life's going to look like, in a month and so on? So just going to Vegas today with a lot of openness, a lot of trust, and feeling myself putting no expectations on Las Vegas or the connection. Like, we may separate, and it was just like this divine connection where we were together for those 3 weeks and we learned what we needed to learn, and maybe the karmic contract is finished in this lifetime. It could be that. It could be after 6-7 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, whatever. It's like, hey, I want to connect with you in the physical reality again, in the physical realm, because it feels to me so true that it's a lifelong friendship for sure. I mean, we're in the same sangha and we have the same healers and teachers, so that's pretty much guaranteed. That we'll at least, see each other. But as far as, if we decide to reconnect in the physical, we both have basically outwardly said, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what our body's intelligence, like I said earlier, it will inform us if that's aligned or not going forward. We were saying last night, like, we're so lost in the kind of the connection and the processing, and like we're so flooded in everything that's brought up, being in such close contact for these 3 weeks and with just the insane intensity. We're so flooded, we don't actually even know how we feel about the connection on a human level. We don't know what it is, what it's supposed to be, because there's so much stuff to process through, and we'll only really have a better idea of what's true for us when we've worked through all that stuff in aloneness with all the space we need. And then I'm sure after like a certain amount of time, we'll both start feeling a truth about, I don't even know how to get down off this mountain, about what the connection truly is. And the last thing I want to say in this video, I feel like it might be getting kind of wordy, but if you're still here, then you're probably in one of these connections yourself right now. You might need to hear this. I tend to be an all or nothing person. So for a while I thought, I just love being alone. That's my thing. I'm just, gonna be alone forever, and that's perfect. And what I've realized with this relationship, and then early on in this connection, months ago, I had a couple days where I was like, well, this is the thing, the relationship, this is my path to God, I'm all in on the relationship. And so I tend to go all or nothing, right? And what I've realized through this connection is I love both. I love being alone. It's amazing for my system, my field. I heal so much in aloneness. I feel so connected to my power. But I also love being in relationship. I love relating with people. I love both, and for me it's about finding that balance of that perfect balance for my system of aloneness and relationship, and realizing I can have both. It's not an all or nothing. I don't just have to be alone my whole life to really connect with my aloneness, and I also don't have to just devote every waking moment to a relationship and really sacrifice aloneness to be in relation. It's like you can have both is what I'm learning, and I think that's where this is leading me to a little bit. And so yeah, right now just really titrated into the relationship for these last few weeks, to relating to everything that brings up in the system, in the body, all the childhood trauma that helps us work through. And now I'm titrating more into a phase of aloneness, of creating, of connecting more deeply with work again, because that always feels so good. Connecting with all of you in sessions and such. So, and making these videos. I love making these videos. But yeah, day 5. Hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. If these videos resonate and you would like to support my journey, my adventure to Las Vegas, I will leave a donation link below. I'll also have the space and the time for sessions again, which I probably mentioned in previous videos. I'm really looking forward to. I know some of you have booked with me, and by the time you see this, because I'm getting, I've been very inspired lately, so, and I'm just gonna post them one day at a time, so I don't, it just seems like the right pace to post them. Yeah, so other than that, thank you so much for being here. Oh, you can also join my Patreon page, another great way to support this work. I look forward to seeing you guys another 145 days, and look forward to just, sharing so much love, all in honor of the Divine Mother, all in full devotion to the Divine Mother, and may peace be with you all. Much love.